Hey, this is Kurt the Boat Doctor. You got your DEC dual motors set up in the mid 40s. One motor about 24, 27 miles an hour. I did make a favorite under your combo over here, so you can just hit that, and that goes back to your gauges. You can go up in here, and then you can hit your autopilot right here. You can go back, and it brings you back. Then you got your radar overlay on top of here. You got your autopilot settings down here. You can also, if you didn't want one of these, you can switch it to your, say your stereo. If you wanted a stereo bar down here instead of like an autopilot, that's up to you. But I did set that one up there for you. And then if you go up under AV gauges, go to Yamaha gauges, and they're right there. Good job setting this up. Yeah, awesome. You know what you're doing, evidently, on a lot of your settings is the way I'd set them up. But I did get it to read dual motors instead of single motors. So right here, you just turn the key switch on. You look, the motors are not started, the trim's down. You can start one, you can start the other one, or you can just start all right there. And then both of them start, they're running. Neutral, reverse, right there is R. Forward, there's forward. Then you got one in reverse, one forward, and make sure they're straight. Bring this one back just a hair. Then this one ahead, you can just spin it. You got your gauges still all right here that are working. Autopilot works fine. So while I'm doing this, I know you got it on Fish Finder, but I'm going to put it back onto combos, and I'm going to go into this one right here, so I can watch that while I'm messing around. See, so I was able to spin it like that. Now I want to go the other way. Just bring this ahead, bring it a little bit reverse, put this one ahead until it moves a little bit more reverse. Then you can just use the one control. Gives you your flow, speed, miles per gallon, gallons per hour, and then you hit this one, it'll take you over into here. And then you got your total trip, used, port, starboard, eco, temp, and used as total gallons. Let me go over here just at a kind of eco flow. Used gallons flow is 1.3. So that's your total fuel used right there. So that's all set up for you. Then you go over here and it puts you back in here. Now you can bring this back into here if you just want to run one motor. Hit this one right here, and it says single lever activated. Now I'm running one motor, or one control for both motors instead of having to use two if you're just running. And then you just trim this up. That's working great. So then you bring this one back down, and then again one motor. Make sure your trim's all the way down. Trim tabs are up. You hit it. 1001, 1002, 1003, about 3.754 seconds to plane. So if you're going back on the plane speed, you're right about there, 23.8.1 gallons per hour, 2.5. Now if you're cruising, I'm going to start trimming this up right here. So I'm at 13.9, we're doing 25, 11.9, 24. So this is fuel cruising right here. About 24 at your 11.5, 2.1 at 24 miles an hour. Now speed cruise. Trim that up here. About right there would be a good one. 32 miles an hour, 18 miles a gallon. That's actually really good. Then you bring this one down, trim it down. And then what you can do is you can leave those both on, but you can either neutral it. The trim assist doesn't work, you don't need it anyway. I can trim faster than that damn thing. And then, like I say, you can go over here, just get your fuel tank, and you got you can go in a menu, of course, you can go to engine information, you can go to maintenance reminders, tanks, active alarms, then you just go back to your tack right over there, voltage, water, oil. Okay, So then what you can do is just bump this in if you got it on single lever. Then this little button right here, if you watch this, see how it says speed control activated? Now this is cruise control. See where it says 90? Now you're gonna hear that. See how it went out, your gear case went out of gear? It'll help you keep down to that trolling speed. There's 2.5, then it kicks off 2. Then you can bring it up, so at 50%, they just kicked in. Then if you go beyond that, then it goes into like cruise control RPM mode, which there you go there. And then you go back, and as soon as you give it gas, it's gonna beep, and then it's gonna kick that out. And you can see I'm running on a single lever right there. Okay, so that's that and that. Okay, so then we can go back to the back here. Now this is one way to tell. You hit this here, if that stays blue, this is activated now, but they got to be in neutral. So then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go single lever, I'm going to hit this one, and I put that radar so I can see if there's any boats up on top on the overlay, so I ain't going to hit anybody. So that's back here on the rear deck. Same thing, you shut the motors off, 1 motor, 2 motors. So then we get back here. I wish they would put a trim switch back here. Okay, now same thing, if I kick that off, you can look up there, that one's in forward, your starboard motor. You got power, port motor, you got power, so all that works. So then you go back into that, you bring that up, then you can do your, right there, we're down to 400. Now it's going to be dropping this thing into your gear cases over there. They'll cut out pretty quick there. And pretty soon they'll kick in. That's your cruise control. There, they just kicked in again. So all that works, and then of course you give it a little gas. That beep beep, that means that got that off of that the variable trim and speed cruise control. So all that works fine. So then we're going to get up here, and it seems like everything else in this boat, I mean, you really got it dialed in beautiful. Okay, so then what we're going to do is show you one motor. See, now I jumped up here, right? You got to push this to activate it right there. Then I'm going to put this one in gear. This one's in neutral, right? But I just have it on, still on the dual instead of just a single. Now I'm going to raise that motor up. The starboard motor. There, yellow. Then you know it's all the way up. So now we're just running on the port motor. So I'm going to give it a little bit of gas just to keep out of trouble here. Now I don't really need these, but I'm going to trim these tabs down. And then the port motor's trimmed down too. Okay, about 18 is when she starts to plane, when you can open it up. So now I'm going to give it some gas. I'm just going to slowly do this instead of working your motors. I could just hammer it, but I'm not gonna. Just slowly doing that. And now that's running off of that port motor over there. See, this one's off, this one's on. Now I can get it up. We're only doing about 6 miles an hour, 33 RPMs, and then I'm just gonna let it work there. Then I'm gonna bring up the speed. Now we're up to 10. Right there's fine. 12. Now once it starts going, I hit about 13 miles an hour, I'm going to start raising these tabs up. Just like here, and then I'm going to pick up, there's 13, 13. I'm going to raise them a little bit more. Then I'm going to hit some more throttle. So once I get up to about 17 miles an hour, there's 15. 15, now it's starting to plane. I'm going to raise those tabs all the way up. Now we're at 15. Now I'm going to give it the rest of the throttle. Now once we get going about 17, I'm going to start trimming the motors up. There, you hear them RPMs pick up. See the speed pick up, 18. Trim up a little bit more. There's 19. going against the current the other way when I was at 20. So it does plane it at 19 miles an hour. That's pretty good. 19.8, 19.9. Now it's picking up 20. So the other way, about 4 miles an hour current is what we're pushing. So you bring this one down slow, start trimming that thing back down again, your port motor. And then that one is blank, so that means that's not running, it's in neutral. So then what you want to do is bring that down. There, until you hear that, and then you'll see this blue. There you go. Okay, now that means I can start that motor up. Bring this back. Then I can go to like single lever again. Hit this one here. So one motor did good. Now this one here's just a little. There we go. Single lever, hit it. So now I'm going through here and all these boats here, I'll just put it in autopilot. Then I'll go back here, make sure everything's flowing good.